Opportunity for millions of migrant workers is now showing signs of economic strain as tensions in the Middle East begin to take a toll. With Iran warning of possible strikes on the UAE during the regional conflict, tourism, aviation and business activity have been disrupted, raising concerns about employment. A recent survey by Manpower Group of 546 employers in the UAE paints a worrying picture. Around one-third of companies say they have no plans to hire, while 1 in 4 have already started cutting jobs. Even workers who remain employed report lower incomes and fewer work opportunities. For India's 2.18 million strong diaspora in the UAE, the impact could be significant. Many Indians, especially in Dubai's hospitality, tourism, construction and service sectors, say work has slowed dramatically. Some report going to work only to find there is little or no work available, while others say they are simply trying to hold on to their jobs. The UAE government has announced support measures worth around $680 million to cushion the economic impact. But with hotel bookings falling, property sales slowing and businesses under pressure, the big question is whether Dubai is facing a temporary slowdown or the beginning of a much deeper employment crisis. We'll talk about this with our guest. Joining us on the show is Ambassador K.P. Fabian, former diplomat, Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, Girish Pant, business consultant. He's been in Dubai for a long time. And last but by no means the least, Dr. Sharat Kohli, senior economist, also joins us on the program as well. All right, Dr. Kohli, I'll begin with you. You being an economist, sir, what do you think is happening over here? Is this something which is transient or temporary? Or do you think that this is the beginning of something, which is going to last for a long time? We all remember, the crisis of 2008 and 9 when people abandoned their cars at the Dubai airport and fled off because they could not pay for their EMIs. Is this a repeat of that, or is this in any way dissimilar to that?
Good evening, Vineet, to you, my fellow panelists and the viewers. I think the situation is quite grave in Dubai right now because the two main sectors which Dubai was trying to, develop was one was real estate and the other was tourism and hospitality. Incidentally, because of the Iran war, both have been very, very severely impacted. Dubai's fancy projects like Palm Jumeirah, Burj Khalifa, and a lot of others. It's got a whole lot of museums and malls, which are extraordinary. I mean, whatever Dubai does, it does one of a kind in the world. I think it was trying to attract tourists, and it was very, very successful, I must say. I mean, one of the most favorite visited spots, not just by Indians, but for people across the world, for that matter. And I think because of the situation here, it's been quite bad. And there's a place in southern Iran. It's called Kish. I remember people from Dubai used to go for a visa change because there was a rule when you're switching category of visas, you had to exit and spend a day or till your new visa came. So they used to go to Kish. There were a lot of hotels in Kish in southern Iran. So Dubai was always vulnerable. In fact, every time I visited Dubai, we used to talk about this, that Iran is too close. Just about the flight takes off and lands, it's as close as that. So it's always going to be vulnerable. And the worst fears came out to be true. And, when the attacks on UAE were made in the round 1 of the war, although I would say that round 2 of the war, which is currently on, Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan have been under attack, but we haven't been hearing about any attacks on UAE. But then because of its proximity to Iran, I mean, things are very, very uncertain because the entire working population, as rightly said, about 28 lakh plus people. 80% of the businesses in Dubai are controlled directly or indirectly by Indians, for that matter. Some of them by Pakistanis and Bangladeshis here and there, but mostly by Indians. So I think it is a part of Dubai is almost like India. I mean, when you move around, you can probably easily speak Hindi across Dubai, and they do. The local population also understands. So I think its situation is very grave, and the number of expats who are there, there is a fear now, Vineet, that a lot of them have come back. They're just holding on to their guns there, just waiting for probably their company to resume operations. The whole money order economy in India, which is about $130 billion, and there are about 1 crore people in the entire Middle East, including Dubai. I think that money order economy has also been impacted. Another reason why rupee has been weak, although this got no connection with we are discussing Dubai economy, but one of the reasons because the inflow of dollars from the Middle East has considerably slowed down because a lot of companies have put the salaries on hold. They haven't shunted out the employees, but they have sort of asked them to just hold on for a while and see. They're waiting for the situation to improve, which doesn't seem to be improving. Although there is nothing, as I said, there is no report in round two that probably UAE is under attack. But then Kuwait, Bahrain, and then Saudi Arabia because of the Yemen Houthi problem, they're all too close. So there's a lot happening in the neighborhood as well. And the round one had attacks. So we saw Sheikh Zayed Road coming under attack. We saw some of these American company offices coming under attack. So the situation is very grave. I have a feeling, Vineet, to answer your question, a part of your question, that things may not be the same again. I mean, I'm very hesitantly making because Dubai was very close to my heart also. I remember we used to have an extended office over there, and I was a very frequent traveler to Dubai once upon a time. But the way things are, and I've been speaking to people, it may never be the same again. Even if things cool down, because first of all, we don't know when this war is going to end, how this is going to end, where this is going to end, how aggressive Iran is going to get. It's all very, very uncertain. And I think Dubai was a global center. It was a financial center. Dubai stock exchange was attracting a lot of attention around the world. The capital markets were developing. The ports were developing. As I said, real estate was coming up in a big way. A lot of Indian celebrities, they've got houses there. Why Indian celebrities? A lot of upper middle class and middle class people also have booked their houses there. Well, situation is very, very grim, Vineet, and I hate to say that.
And you're quite right, sir. Situation is grim. Professor Nalapat, in fact, Dubai was, the new gateway to the world. The world wanted to come to Dubai, and, people from countries like India and the subcontinent wanted to see the world via Dubai. It became a hot spot. It became a layover for a number of flight carriers as well that transported you to exotic locations around the world from Dubai. But all of that has come to a screeching halt because of this war. And Dubai is sustaining itself on tourism. They know that, oil can only sustain their economy for this long. What are your thoughts, sir, on this conflict that has impacted Dubai the most?
Look, Vineet, I'm not a prophet of gloom and doom. The reality is Sheikh Mohammed, who's the ruler of Dubai, is one of the most, if I may say so, one of the most seasoned and intelligent of the rulers of the world. And yes, the tourism has been affected. Nobody wants to go to tourism in a country that may be under attack by Iran. And yes, construction has been impacted. Nobody wants to construct if tomorrow that thing can be bombed. But I would like to say that round two seems a little different from round one. Round two, the Americans are not so tentative. They have been launching a lot more attacks. And quite frankly, Donald Trump needs a win desperately to come back to power in the sense of the Republican majority being maintained in the House and Senate. He desperately needs it, and certainly if he blinks in front of Iran, that's the end of his his majority in the House of Representatives and in the US Senate also possibly, and he becomes a lame duck president. He's well aware of that. That's why now the strikes have been intensified very sharply. As far as Iran is concerned, there's a limited capability for waging war. They're using mostly drones, aircraft almost nil, and they're using those kind of missile systems that are still there, but which are being expended at a very heavy rate. So I would like to say quite clearly that yes, this is a problem. It's a serious problem, but as yet I do not see any panic there. I don't see any panic rush back to India on the part of the expat community. Now, in certain fields, the low-income communities from India are impacted. Some of them are sticking it out, and others, some of them may be going, but there's no real mass panic as yet, and I don't think there'll be a mass panic, because in my view, I think it's, the quicker this Iran situation is brought under control, the quicker the IRGC is brought under control, the quicker the Strait of Hormuz is made open for international shipping as an international shipping area, the better for the whole world. Now, I am therefore quite optimistic that this situation will get resolved. And that's one of the reasons why those who are there and who know the situation best are still staying put and not fleeing the country. There were periods in which they left the country in large numbers, but this is not one of those periods. And as far as the money order economy is concerned, yes, it is a problem. There's no question about it. It will affect India. It will affect our foreign reserves because a lot of our foreign reserves come from the remittances from the Middle East, from the US, from other countries. But still, I would like to say the capability of the ruler of Dubai and the administration led by him. They, for example, they legalized crypto trade. They have cut back on taxes to almost zero. They got a very free and easy business environment. All these conditions are still there. They're not been destroyed by the Iran missiles or bombing or whatever. And therefore, I do believe that Dubai is an example for how to deregulate. It is an example for how to attract capital rather than allow capital to leave the country. And again, from that point of view, I think Dubai will definitely come out of this. It's a very resilient economy. And frankly, when the ruling family came to power, Dubai was nothing. It was an oasis in the desert. And today, look what that oasis has become. And I mean, frankly, it became an oasis in the desert because of certain mistakes made by India. Moradi Desai's gold control order made Dubai the gold smuggling capital of the Middle East. And smuggling became a very big industry in Dubai. But that led to Dubai flourishing. Today, fortunately, it's all legal. But I would only like to say, Vinay, I'm not a doom and gloom person. I do honestly believe that this Iran war, if this round, Donald Trump has no choice but to go all out. And the US armed forces have that capability. If he does not use those till now he's been very tentative. Should I not? When the midterms are looming, he's ceasing to be as tentative as that. And this time I see the attacks are much more focused, much more directed, much more driven by military minds rather than political minds overlooking the views of the military. Therefore, Vineet, in my personal opinion, I think this situation will get resolved. And when it gets resolved, the strengths of Dubai, the deregulation, the friendly atmosphere, any religion you are, it doesn't matter in Dubai. You can have your house of worship. You can do so many things that you can't do in so many countries in the world. And from that point of view, Dubai will continue to be a very, very favorite destination for international investment once this situation is settled. But yes, it's unsettled now. But again, I repeat, the best people to judge that are people on the ground in Dubai. And you have a lot of news reports which are to some extent speculative and to some extent slightly alarmist. I would not be alarmist. I would not be speculative. I would like to say that, in my view, in the very short term, we may have some problems, but otherwise, the Indian worker, the Indian employee, no matter at what level, including as Dr. Sharad Kohli correctly said, at the level of bosses, they are highly liked in Dubai. They're highly respected in Dubai. And the relationship between India and Dubai at the highest level, that of Sheikh Mohammed and Prime Minister Modi, is extremely warm and cordial. So therefore, Vineet, allow me to be optimistic. Thank you.
All right, fair enough, sir. Ambassador Fabian, how optimistic are you that this gloom and doom that prevails in and around UAE and West Asia is going to subside, and perhaps greener pastures will appear in the days to come? Ambassador Fabian, that's for you, sir.
Yes, thank you. So your question is what is likely to happen in the next couple of weeks. Is that right? Because if I
Right,
got it
sir.
right.
Maybe not a couple of weeks, but in the near future.
Okay. But before that, I want to say that I do see the logic in what Dr. Sharad Kohli said, and I also share the assessment made by Professor Narapat. But let me just add that there is a report that, Dr. Sharad can confirm it. I'm not sure, but there is a report that 30,000 high net worth individuals have left Dubai in the recent times, and that is about 1/12, and that 1 out of 8 British high net worth individuals have left. So there is a problem. There is no point in trying to argue that, Dubai is, sort of the rulers are great. Of course they are great, but we have to look at the big picture. Now, the big picture is it is an asymmetrical war. And in an asymmetrical war, the weaker party is not destined to lose. And the best example is Vietnam. 30th of April 1975, the American ambassador who had hoisted the flag a few hours earlier, he sort of, hoisted it, got it and collected it, and he left by helicopter from the embassy. Okay? So that is an asymmetrical war, and in this case, we seem to be looking at an asymmetrical war. Now, coming to President Trump's, desire for victory, I am of the view that he has already lost, because he has been trying to ride two horses at the same time, one diplomacy and the other military action. Now, any of us, if we start riding two horses, what will happen? We might fall in between. Now, that is what has happened, and Trump cannot, I repeat, cannot win this war militarily. So he will have to sort of, sit down with Iran, and as already pointed out by so many scholars, in June last year, it was Trump who wanted a ceasefire. This time also, it is Trump who wanted a ceasefire. So I expect, they will settle down to talks, and Iran might make a concession, that is to discuss the nuclear matter before other matters are settled. So I am reasonably hopeful that something good will happen. And the last point is, we should take note of the fact that 60 Indians, mainly workers, were deported from Dubai on Monday to the Surat airport, and their passports and other belongings, cell phones, were retained by the UAE authorities, and our embassy issued emergency certificate. Now, the reason given is that they might have violated the residency rules. Well, we don't know the details, but I think we should not be too angry with the UAE, because if you violate the residency rules, you can be fined 10,000 dirham, which is about 260,000 rupees. So if they had asked for that to be paid, these poor people can't pay, and the embassy would have to pay. So I think it's not bad, but the situation is not as sort of promising as we would like to believe. But thank you.
Fair enough. Girish, you are there. Tell us what's happening. What's the emotion as well as the sentiment with the diaspora there? Dubai is, of course, a hotbed for many people who call it home now.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and I really appreciate Professor Madhav and Dr. Kohli and Mr. Fabian said, and UAE is the second home for the people of all Indian diaspora. First of all, and you heard about the statement of the Mr. Abbar, who is the MR owner. He has given the statement, I like to hire the Indians because they answer the phone even at the 1 o'clock at night or in the morning, because they are very hardworking. So UAE has, in India is more than 4 million people, means you can say 40 lakhs people are residing in UAE, right? So the Indian community are very strong, and the India and UAE relations, bilateral relation. In last 34 year, in 2015, the first time after 34 year, our Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi visited in UAE after 34 year. So after that, you see the growth of Indian and UAE relationship, and the Indian citizen, we feel proud to stay like a home. Yes, this during the war, But I'm sorry to say about this statement. It's my personal statement. The media is showing what has not been happened in so far in UAE, right? The media is making so much propaganda in Indian news channels that the Burj Khalifa is down, this is down, the it's fired, the building Burj Khalifa is fired. Nothing is like happen in this region. Yes, somewhere it's happened because of the UAE, and UAE military has been intercepted the drones, and their garbage has been dropped down somewhere. It's little bit fire is there, but not much having issue like the other countries we are looking at, Iran or other countries. But yes, UAE, I feel I'm here in the Dubai last 18 years, and I feel I have seen 2008 crisis, I have seen 2014 crisis, financial crisis, I have seen the COVID 2019, 2020, 20. After that, if you look out the history of the UAE, the growth has been triple of the triple of growth. So the UAE, they had, as Mr. Fabin said, and Mr. Professor Madhav said, the UAE leader has a vision for the future. UAE is the first country, this is my personal statement, in the world where the Minister of Happiness is there, where the Minister of Tolerance is there, and they are planning to have a Minister of Future. So the vision of the UAE leaders, Sheikh Mohammed or Sheikh Nahyan, who are leading the country in 7 Emirates all together. That's why it's called United Arab Emirates. They united and thinking about and prosperity, safety of their citizen, as well as the resistance of the people. Forget about regardless any caste, color, creed, and then more than 200 nationalities are staying in UAE with the happiness and harmony. So tell me, which country is staying more than 200 nationalities in the same country? And UAE is a hub of the business, which you can very easily reach to the Africa, Northeast, Middle East, very easy to access. And the most important thing, in very easy access to India and UAE, just 3 hours. And very frequently, you go Friday night and come to the Monday office. So and yes, there is some impact in because of this, because tourist was not coming due to the this war
Right.
situation, but still now growing slowly. I visited last 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, even the war time. I visited the
All right,
Maldives
fair
Mall,
enough.
which is a very
You're absolutely right, Girish, and you made some important points, and so have our other guests as well. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we'll continue to watch and observe and report as to what's going on in UAE and West Asia. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this conversation. We'll take a short break now. Be right back.